Hello, everyone. We want to take this opportunity to say thank you. As you grow at the Golden Boot, so do our needs, but we cannot do it without you. We ask that you continue to like our posts, share our content, and subscribe to our YouTube, Facebook, and other social media platforms. You may also visit thegoldenboot.com for the latest merch. If you would like to make a financial donation, you can do so through Cash App at @GoldenBoot or through PayPal at paypal.me/goldenboot. We look forward to bringing you more laughs, knowledge, and entertainment. And again, thank you for your endless support. Sincerely and respectfully, the Golden Boot team.
The views and opinions expressed in the Golden Boot podcast are those of the speaker and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of the Golden Boot podcast as a whole.
Y'all ready to get rolling? Quiet on the set. Hey, welcome back to another episode of the Golden Boot. It's your boy Pooh Bow. Got my man Aunt Petty Murphy in the building, and it's been a busy day.
Man,
we'll apologize for coming on a little late. Lot of things been in motion, literally.
Me.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, so, but Ryan came in with jokes. Talking about Pooh Bear forgot to charge his laptop again. I'm gonna forget to charge your chair. You keep on.
But what's funny is my laptop. I was the one who made the show late. I'll admit, it was my fault. It wasn't Pooh's fault this time. But my laptop actually is about to die, so I had to put it on the charger during the intro. So Ryan got jokes, but he actually kind of spot on this time.
Yeah. But man, what's good?
Man, just left from my little mentor program, trying to change some lives of some young people, man. But same old, bro. What about you?
Man, listen, I'm tired.
I thought I was tired till you told me how your day been. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. Yeah, been up since the wee hours of the morning. I tell you what, everybody who sat by me on the plane, I would apologize to them, but I don't care. Because hey, listen, I put them shades on, I put that neck pillow on, and all I heard was,
once the neck pillow come out, they know what time it is.
Bro, do you know how you tired when you hear yourself snore in your sleep? all I heard, hey, then the crazy part about it, I heard three different kind of snores. I heard the then I heard the I knew I was tired, man. Oh man, I knew I was tired. And man, I'm in this hotel with this. I'm in a different hotel than when I usually stay in.
Okay.
And
better Wi-Fi this time, or what?
I'm actually plugged directly in this time.
Oh, okay.
So, but the chair, the chair.
One of them, huh?
I'm if I fall out, don't worry about it, just keep going. I'll bounce back up. So, but hey, I'm serious.
Hope the chair put together better than the bed put together better than the chair then.
The bed looked very comfortable. I hadn't tried. Listen, I was scared because I was gonna take a nap before the show. I was scared.
You weren't gonna wake up.
I went. Yeah, it was over with. So, yeah. Whatever I say tonight, if it's off the wall,
you delirious like Eddie Murphy.
Hey, I'm on this thing. If y'all hear me snoring, mind your business. What they argue with your mama. I don't care. But what's up, everybody in the chat? Ryan did pop in though, man. Ryan, we do appreciate you coming in. Looking forward to it. Cousin Nick in the building. Hey, cousin Nikki, how you doing?
What's going on, fam? How you doing?
Cousin Nikki hit me up and gave me some restaurants I gotta try when I go back to fly back out. So I'm gonna definitely hit them up. Definitely hit them up.
For sure.
Josh, what's good, Josh? I always appreciate.
So appreciate y'all for tuning in, man.
We got I don't know what kind of show it's gonna be.
Sure.
That's exactly that. That's a good one. That's a good answer. That's a good answer. Well, let's go ahead. Before we get started, like we always do, we want to thank everybody for watching, tuning in, and stuff. You can be anywhere in the world, but you're here with us. Appreciate your support, your likes, your shares, your subscriptions. Word of mouth gets out and stuff, and somebody is I always get somebody hit me up like, hey man, you know what I'm saying, appreciate what y'all doing and stuff, and it means a lot. So we do appreciate everything that y'all have done to help us get where we are and to help us go where we going. So
but you could do more. You could subscribe, or you could tell your cousin to subscribe, or you could tell your nephew, baby daddy to subscribe. Well, hopefully it's baby mama. I bet that came out kind of wrong. But yeah. But anyway, so because if you subscribe, you can win some money.
They might be non-binary.
And I know y'all got y'all taxes, so y'all don't really care right now. But them tax money will be gone, and y'all gonna need that $100. So
I don't
subscribe.
even want to talk about taxes right now.
Subscribe, and you can get.
Uh-oh.
Get $100.
All right. Did I freeze or did you freeze? Uh-oh. Hold on, I'm finna try to I don't know if that's me or you.
You good? I don't know what just happened.
All right. Am I back? Am I good? Was that me?
They said it was me, but I don't know.
Okay. Okay. Oh, they said Ant froze. I wonder. I was like, uh-oh.
Yeah, I don't know. I ain't know what happened.
They said your video going in and out. I just know I don't trust hotel Wi-Fi.
Leave and come back in, I guess.
All right. While you do that, I'll do our usual. Y'all know what time it is. It's the last Sunday of the Black History Month. Uh-oh, let me go back. Last Sunday of Black History Month. Like we say every time, it didn't start in 1619. It won't end with President Obama. Today's Black History figure was none other than Miss Monet Davis. Miss Monet was the first Black girl to play in the Little League World Series. Not only that, she was the first girl overall to pitch in the game and to win. She's also the first to pitch a shutout. She currently is at Hampton University on the softball team. Unfortunately, her freshman season got cut short due to COVID. Sophomore season, they canceled. So we look forward to seeing what she's gonna do this year. But that's one to make you feel old.
You ain't lying, boy.
That's what to make you feel.
Boy,
I remember saying that. So
this shit in college now, man. That's the crazy part. Like, bro, she's supposed to be like 15 right now,
bro. I tell it. Other people, I realize it's other people's kids that make you feel old. It's never your own.
Facts. Big old facts.
Yeah. All right. Speaking of baseball, though. Speaking of baseball and softball, LSU's baseball team dropped their first game yesterday.
And the melt ensued.
They lost to Iowa big time, 12 to I think 12-4. It may have been 12-3. But fans were, I mean, complete meltdown. Complete meltdown. It's 56 games in the season at minimum, and they act like that was the championship. So, yeah.
I mean, we knew it was coming the first time the team lost. It was gonna happen. You know what I mean? They thought that this team was gonna go undefeated or something. I guess I don't know, but it's baseball. Anything can happen.
Yeah. Here's the crazy part about it to me. I see it every game where, like, if they get out to a slow start, they're always, you know, saying fans are like, oh man, what are we doing? You know, this team ain't as good as we thought they were, and it's like, hey man, you know, it's a slow
I done
start.
seen some people throwing Jay Johnson under the bus already, man.
Yeah.
Jay Johnson a fraud, and he can't even win with this time. Like, come on, man. Like, let's pump the brakes on all that.
Right. It didn't help. LSU softball team also lost. Lost a close one. They lost 5-4 to ULL.
Thank you.
They then came back today to beat them 4-1. So they split the games with ULL and ended up winning 3 out of 4 over the weekend. So
yeah. That softball fine, bro. I mean, they had one hiccup in their first 15 games or so. Like, they'll be all right, bro.
They've shown a lot of resilience so far early in this season. And even in a loss, it was a close loss. So I can't hold much against them for that. So, but as Ryan says, it's way too early to hit the panic button. And unfortunately, it's a lot of people doing it. Bless you.
Appreciate you. But yeah, man, you know, that's if we had to lose to someone, I don't know about that. I feel like ULL is never acceptable, but that might just be a personal bias I have against ULL. But yeah, I think it's way too early to panic in either sport, especially baseball, man. Just because we know how baseball is in a way, you know, softball is the same way to a certain extent where any day anything can happen based off who's pitching. But baseball too, there's more parity in baseball, I believe, than softball. You know what I mean? So you have to worry about that happening a little bit more in baseball. So I think, man, just pump the brakes, bro. Way too soon.
Right. Baseball is a game of failure. If your hitting was essentially 29%, that is considered a really good baseball.
Man, who the greatest hitter ever in baseball? I mean, as far as like in a season, percentage wise, the answer is Ted Williams.
Okay,
he hit over 400. I mean, you know what I mean. So more than half the time he failed, and he's the greatest ever to do it.
Yeah.
We don't put for a season. So I mean,
you said Ted Williams. It was a trick question. I was going to say Ichiro.
Oh, yeah, hey, that's him and Tony Gwynn, some of my favorites of all time, bro. Could Tony Gwynn play today? I know this is could Tony Gwynn play today?
I think he could.
Because
I think he could survive.
I think so much of today's game is predicated on the home run. You know what I mean? And Tony Gwynn wasn't hitting a lot of home runs. But all you gotta do is make the first. I think the shift would have hurt him, but now that they've banned the shift, I think Tony Gwynn would be. I don't know. I'm not gonna say he would have been as good as he is now. I mean, as he was, because it's a different game nowadays. But he would have still been effective.
I'm tell you why I think Tony Gwynn would still be really good. Tony Gwynn was cerebral.
That's very true.
Extremely cerebral. People always tell the story, and most people have heard it about when I forget who they were playing, but it got rain delayed, and he went to, hey, this is who's going to pitch. Be ready. This is what he's going to throw, and exactly like he said, they came out through that pitch, and it was boom. So what's good, Marv? Marv in the building. Good Good man Dave in the building as well.
What's happening, fellas?
Appreciate
yeah,
y'all being here.
Tony Gwynn might be the greatest hitter I've ever seen with my own two eyes. As far as like, you know, just pure hitting the baseball. Ichiro right up there with him. Right up there with him. But Ichiro is more of a speedster that kind of used that to his advantage with Tony Gwynn. You know, that man wasn't beating out a tortoise in a foot race.
Yeah. So some of my favorite baseball players, Tony Gwynn, Pudge Rodriguez, Cecil Fielder, David Wells, not Cecil Fielder. I'm sorry, Prince Fielder.
Prince Fielder. Okay, I was about to say Cecil Fielder. That's the name for you right there, bro.
Prince Fielder. And they all got something in common. They was big dudes, but they was moving and they played. It's another. I can't think of the other guy.
How can you not say Bartolo Colon?
That's who I'm thinking. Okay, I was trying. I was say Hispanic guy. I can't remember his name.
He got to be on the list, man.
He on the list, man. It's just because it was always. And it's funny because when I was younger, I was really small, but I thought I was fat. So, like you froze again. So when seeing those guys, man, out there moving like they did it was inspiring to me, man. So all right. You there?
Yeah, I don't know if you can see me though.
I hear you though. I hear you. Probably not. All right. Ryan brings up Pete Rose.
Yeah, Pete Rose was a dog. I mean, I never saw him play, so I can't really
highlights and stuff.
Yeah. But man, I was a big fan of I don't want to say Prince Fielder, of Tony Gwynn. But like other than that, as far as like just pure hits, it's like Miguel Cabrera probably to me is one of the greatest hitters to ever live, but it doesn't ever get the credit he deserves for it. But obviously Ken Griffey Jr. got the prettiest swing to me that I've ever seen in my life.
Perfect swing.
That's the prettiest swing I've seen. But as far as like Ichiro is a great hitter, Chipper Jones was a great hitter from both sides of the plate. You know what I mean? But something about Tony Gwynn, it just I don't know what it is, dog. But it was like Tony Gwynn came up, you can bet that ball was gonna hit in that right field corner somewhere. He was gonna get a single or a stand-up double out of it every time.
Yeah, man. So but yeah, I'm looking for it. I didn't realize spring practice had already started. Or spring training. So it'll be interesting, man.
I'm gonna talk about that a little later tonight.
Okay. Football. I'm gonna make this one real quick. Michael Daugherty entered the transfer portal. He put out a statement. I'm not going to read the statement because I don't have it pulled up. And but I do want to say I wish him the best. I'm gonna talk a little bit more later about this, but I wish him the best. Praying for him. I know how much he and his family loved LSU, so I just wish him the best. So and that's all that needs to be said.
Yeah,
in my opinion. So
yeah, I mean, I think as fans, we always try to kind of put ourselves in their shoes and kind of wonder what they were thinking and why they did what they did. When the ultimate part is we need to, just be mindful of his future and be, wishing and praying for the best for that young man going forward. I think that's the ultimate goal. Is we want the best for the young man, and
correct.
And I think too many times we start trying to wonder why they did what they did instead of just on what's best for them.
Yeah. All right. Excuse me. I know we got basketball next, but I want to skip. I want to go to boxing real quick. Tommy Fury versus Jake Paul. Tommy Fury beat Jake Paul by a split decision.
Oh, Jake Paul lost.
He lost.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah, it was 74, 75, 76, 73, 76, 73. That was the official judges cards. Tommy Fury was considered the first real boxer that Jake Paul has fought. He did get a knockdown on Tommy Fury in the I want to say in the last round that kind of made it a 10-8 round
Yeah.
to make it a little bit closer. But although it was a loss, should we start taking Jake Paul more serious as a boxer? I'm not saying he's going to be like some kind of weight class champion, but
Yeah. Why shouldn't we? I mean, I feel like if the people, and like this the thing, like I've heard people in that industry who say, you know what I mean, he goes through the training and you know what I mean, he gets in there, he actually does it, and you can't fake boxing, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, you know what I mean?
You
Like,
don't practice
yeah,
boxing.
Yeah,
you don't play
you know
boxing.
what I mean? Yeah, you box. So I feel like when you take all that in consideration, his who he fought aside, I mean, he's a boxer. Is he a professional boxer? Maybe not. You know what I mean? But he's a boxer. He's at least an amateur boxer. And I mean, I think he in some of I ain't watched the fight today, obviously. I had my program or whatever, but
I didn't even watch it.
But you know, I'm just saying, like, from what I've seen from him in the past, he's shown that he's got skill. You know what I mean? He's shown that he's taking it seriously. And to me, he has like a level of appreciation and respect for it, to where he's not trying to make a mockery of it. Like, you can argue about all his antics and all that showmanship and all, but you can say some real boxers do the same thing. You know what I mean? Like Adrian Broner's of the world do the same type of stuff. You know what I mean? So what separates Adrian Broner's antics from Jake Paul's antics? You know what I mean? Like, so I feel like the antics don't disqualify him for being able to be a boxer. I feel like he might not be professional, but he's definitely a boxer. And to me, if he's able to get a fight with a Tommy Fury, then that just even more solidifies it and legitimizes him to a certain extent.
Yeah. I can't believe you brought up the can man, because anyone can get it. But Adrian Broner,
if he could box as good as he could talk, he'd be the greatest ever.
He got so he was. I thought he was going to be the next Mayweather. He got too involved in the antics over the actual
Andre Ward.
So
I just say one of them retired undefeated. I'm just saying.
Yeah. So but Jake Paul, he's very skilled. Very skilled. He's got power. I think he's got some good technique. The only thing I was driving me crazy about him, he was only boxing and or fighting against former athletes or athletes who were not box. He fought against 2 MMA fights, but he fought against Ben Askren, who was
terrible,
washed.
Worst hand. But not just that, he's never been he's a wrestler. He's not even a boxer. He's not a striker.
Yeah.
So you know what I mean? You fought a dude who doesn't really even punch in MMA.
And then Tyron Woodley, he fought against Woodley. Woodley was on the end of his career. It ain't even no question. End of his career, and Woodley, I think Woodley was kind of. That's still kind of questionable. I'm not gonna do the whole. Well, forget it. I'm gonna do it. I don't know if Woodley didn't take a dive.
I'm not gonna ever accuse a man of doing that without really having proof. But I will say there was some suspicious moments in that fight where it looked like he was taking a dive. I'm not gonna say he did, but I can see why people would say he did. Like whenever he had him on the ropes and just stopped punching. You know what I mean? Like,
that's suspicious.
I mean,
You don't
I'm
find
with
that
you,
suspicious.
It looked, like I said, it looked like he did, but I'm never gonna say that he did. You know what I mean?
Right.
Without having
I agree. I agree. you brought up Silva. Silva is
He old.
borderline
He old.
50,
He old.
and realistically, Silva was hanging in there with him, and Jake caught him. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
He caught him with a punch and sat him down, and that was the difference in the fight, for the most part. But now he fights Tommy Fury, who both were. Tommy Fury was like 8-0 or something like that with 4 knockouts. So they both were, I mean, pretty early careers. But I think Tommy got more credibility because of his relationship with Tyson.
Yeah, it's cool. Nephew, whatever.
Yeah. So I don't. While I respect Jake Paul, his ability, I didn't like. It felt like boxing, and you said he wanted to make a marker. It felt like to me he was, because he was doing more of in the ring with the, you know what I'm saying, I'll fight you if you get a tattoo or something like that. I'll fight you, I'll give you 500. And I get it. It's showmanship, it's selling, but it's like you're making money, and which is what you're supposed to do. And real boxing, or what is considered real boxing, people don't show up for it like that.
Well, let me ask you this: how is what he been doing different than Mayweather fighting that Japanese kickboxer?
It's not. Well, I think maybe it felt like to me, and I said it when he was going over there fighting like the Chinese,
even McGregor. You know what I mean? It's the same type.
It felt like it was like, you know what I'm saying, it was like, either, you know what I'm saying, you owe taxes, or, you know what I'm saying, you trying to make up some quick money, or something. I mean, and I'm not saying he was broke, but it was just like,
I'm gonna say that if you say that what Mayweather did was also a mockery, then you know what I mean, I can't, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
then,
I do, and I
the
do.
same standard. But I know a lot of people who, and partially because they Mayweather fans, or you know, whatever, you know, and they feel like what Mayweather did, Mayweather earned the right to do that. You know what I mean? Well, I disagree. If you're a boxer, you're gonna box, and you're not gonna make a mockery of the sport that you so-called earned the right to make a mockery of. That don't really make sense. So I feel like if you say Mayweather made a mockery of it, then I agree that Jake Paul did too. But I don't really feel like what Mayweather did was necessarily a mockery. I feel like it was kind of borderline amateurish, you know what I'm saying? But like, I'm not gonna necessarily say it was a mockery. I feel like a mockery would be like taking dives, or you know what I'm saying, intentionally doing, you know what I'm saying, stuff like that.
Yeah. Ryan say, I'm old school, talk with your hands. Ryan, we're not talking about sign language in here. We're not talking about ASL. I told you started with me early.
Speaking of ASL, it's the crazy. Did you see the video of the woman doing ASL to Eminem Rap God?
I did.
I feel like she was just making stuff up at that point.
I've seen Rihanna, the one lady who did it for Rihanna. I saw the lady who did it for Waka Flocka.
Yeah.
And so
the like the Waka Flocka one, I saw this Eminem Rap God under that. And I swear, like, she was just making she had, because it was the same woman. It was the same woman. So she must be like the hip hop ASL woman or something. Gotcha. But bro, she was a little lit on that Waka Flocka one, bro. I don't know if she was dancing or making signs, but she was lit.
Right. So Paul's up in the building. What's good? He says, what's good? Can't talk much, listening while working on something. Well, man, we appreciate that, you know what I'm saying, that we can
this man coming up with an 18-page spreadsheet. Twister. Someone did it to Twister. If you can sign the Twister, man, you got some fast fingers.
No comment.
Twitter fingers. Twister fingers.
Moving on to basketball. LSU men.
If you don't want to.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. LSU men failed yesterday
to a team with no coach.
Coachless Ole Miss. Yes.
That's gotta be, bro. Is that the new bottom? Like losing to a team without a coach?
That's almost LSU football team losing to a team without missing 3 starters and playing walk-ons. That the year Mettenberg, it was like I want to say it was like
Yeah.
12 or 13.
But I feel like this
Ole Miss-
worse though, bro. Because for one, like this team is just as bad as you, like record wise,
That's true.
talent wise, and they ain't got a coach. And you at home.
You weren't at home. They was at home. It was at.
I mean,
Ole
oh,
Miss.
you're right. That was what the hell? Yeah, you right.
Yeah.
But I don't care, bro. Like, ain't no way you should. I don't know. Maybe I'm being too hard on. I don't know.
I think we expect more because we saw more from them.
Well, even the game you won, that ain't gonna be too harsh. You saw 2 players step up. If we want to be honest, you had 35 from one and 18 from the other. So you had 80% of your points come from 2 players. I don't know how much stepping up we saw them do, but we saw KJ and Adam step up. But you know,
Here's the last 3 years, even under Wade, different players, everything. Shooting has been an issue. Cam Thomas was the exception, but shooting has been when I say shooting, I'm not talking about mid range and 3.
Cam Thomas was a volume shooter, and I'm not saying that he wasn't a good shooter, but he was like a 4 for 8, 4 for 10 kind of guy. You know what I mean? And so he make them, but he shot a lot to make some.
Yeah,
like we ain't had a true shooter
since Tremont, Skylar.
I was gonna Skylar probably, but I don't even know if he's. They both decent, but I wouldn't call neither one of them a shooter. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. The reason why I said that, layups. I am sick and tired of seeing layups roll out, and I it happens, but it's like the last few years.
What we said last year, Xavier Pinson can't finish at the rim. We said that last year. We said it times before that when we said Javonte Smart and Skylar Mays having trouble finishing at the rim. I asked for a finishing coach for 2 seasons just to have somebody so we can finish layups at the rim. It's no different.
Yeah.
And no, Ryan, I would prefer not to have Brandon Millers and Darius Miles on this team.
Damn. Speaking of that, the pat down. That was the worst. Tone since I'm gonna tell you what it reminded me of. Your boy, Gilbert Arenas.
Ooh, I forgot about that one.
When
I was gonna say that when they did the CPR after the sack.
I don't think that. So I can excuse because people were doing. I don't think and it was tone deaf, but I don't think that was necessarily intentional, aimed at DeMar Hamlin. I think it was something that they used to do and then didn't think about. Oh shoot, we shouldn't do that no more.
And to your point, I think that's sort of the same situation with the Brandon Miller thing. I think that's something that they have been doing for a while, and they just didn't realize right now probably ain't the best time to keep doing it. And so I'm not going to say that they started doing that or this is something they did, you know what I mean? But if and I think it is the case, if it's something that they have been doing, they should have probably stopped doing, you know what I mean? But I don't think that it's something where they were like, oh, let's do this, because you're going through this, you know what I mean? But either way, it's tone deaf, and I feel like they should have read the room a little bit better.
Yeah, they did. He said,
I forgot about that.
Didn't someone do a TD celebration jokingly after Burr shot himself? Yeah, they did. Forgot about that one too. But yeah, so yeah, that's what is Ryan talking about? Head, shoulders, pants, shoes, wipe me down. What?
He done had one too many to drink tonight.
Yeah. Is Ryan the new Chris? I ain't seen Chris in here in a minute. He might be.
Man.
He might be stuck in Bay St. Louis. Somebody check on him.
Yeah, he fishing with Miles Brennan.
I was just gonna say he probably sold some of them dogs to Miles Brennan and he sold some of them dogs. He talked. Hey, Chris, we talk about them dogs like Bubba was talking about them shrimp. I got brown dogs. I got blue tick dogs.
I've been running my dogs, man.
Chris, kill about them dogs, man. LSU women finished off the season, man, with only one loss on the season. Finished off the regular season. That one loss. That one loss was
a big loss.
It was a big loss, but who they lost to, everybody lost to. So
that's true. That's true.
But they did finish off, and Angel Reese tied Sylvia Falls with 27 double-doubles in a season.
Yeah. I mean, very impressive. Even though they lost the biggest game of the year so far, nothing to hang their head on, nothing to be disappointed or feeling like a failure about anything like that.
Did I do that? I did.
Yeah. And they should see that team again, and hopefully in the SEC, hopefully 2 more times, but definitely 1 more time for sure. So we'll see. But great season, exceeded expectations, but I still feel like this team isn't satisfied, and I feel like they ain't reached their full potential yet.
Jasmine Carson is getting hot at the right time. Since South Carolina game, she been killing it, especially from 3.
And they're gonna need that against South Carolina though if they play them, because you can't ask Reese and Alexis Morris to do it all.
Oh yeah, no, definitely can't. And it relieves them some of that pressure from them too.
Yeah, we need Williams to have a big game because them twin towers from South Carolina. We saw what happened last time. If Angel Reese, I'm not gonna say she can get shut down, but they can make life difficult for her. So she needs someone else to help her on the glass, help her in the post, because they got multiple big bodies in South Carolina they can throw Reese.
Yeah, it's crazy. She got 16, and they're considered quote unquote shutting her down because that's not what we used to seeing from her.
Well, it's the way she got the 16. Like that 16 looks like the hardest 16 that she got all season. Like, you know what I mean? She earned every one of them 16, whereas some of them other games it came way easier for her. So I think the whole shutting it down was the way it looked. You know what I mean? Not necessarily her production.
Yeah. NBA. We were supposed to talk about this.
No, we wouldn't.
We was.
Young thing. Okay. We can talk about that.
And the post All-Star.
We can't talk about another team though.
Why we can't?
Because we need Zion back ASAPly. That's why.
So the Hawks fired last Tuesday Nate McMillan. Basically he was too tough of a coach.
Pretty much. Him and Trae Young didn't get along. Was it John Collins? One of their players came out and basically was like, he felt like that coach would be a good fit for an older team. And so that's my way of basically saying he was kind of being demanding and kind of too tough on some of the younger guys who aren't used to that kind of treatment. But this is the 3rd coach that Trae Young done had in his career. Well, the next one will be the 4th coach that he's done had in his career. And so
well, they got that next coach.
Yeah, they did. And I hate the fit, honestly.
The Hawks hired Quinn Snyder to 5-year deals. He'll make his debut on Tuesday.
Quinn Snyder is for those who don't know, he was the coach for the Jazz for the past few years, whenever they went on their run, a regular season run at least, of being number 1, number 2 seed in the West multiple times, and having good but not great teams, I say, with Donovan Mitchell, Rudy Gobert, and some of those teams. But I don't like the fit.
You know what? I'm tripping.
Quinn Snyder has been a hard-nosed type coach, and you giving it.
You know who I was confusing Quinn Snyder with? Who's the dude that was coaching at Portland that they let go?
Oh, I forgot that man's name.
I'm gonna have to look it up now.
Yeah, he was there. You talking about the dude was there for like 45 years in Portland. What was that man's name? Terry Stotts.
Oh, that's it.
Yeah,
That's it. I was
Terry
confusing them
Stotts.
too.
Yeah, Quinn Snyder was, and you remember he just left the Jazz. He
Yeah.
just up like my contract up. I don't know, he just like basically walked away from the team. So it could be that he wants back into basketball, and this is kind of his first chance. But if I'm the Hawks, I just got rid of a demanding coach and bring in another demanding coach. I don't know if that's necessarily the right move you want to do, unless the reports and the rumors are true about them looking to move on from Trae Young in the offseason.
Interesting. People moving on. That's gonna be the.
That's gonna be very, very interesting to watch, especially when you look at it and consider that they could have Luka.
Oh yeah. That they did trade them for each other.
Mm-hmm.
Yikes. Post All-Star NBA predictions. So we've already started seeing some of these teams how they look now. We got because a lot of teams made moves right before the All-Star break, and we didn't get to see those new teams play together. Not at least, you know what I'm saying, maybe 1 or 2 games.
Yeah, not enough.
Maybe. Boston didn't. I don't think Boston made any moves.
Not big ones, at least.
Boston looks good.
They do, but if I'm Boston, I'm looking at Milwaukee. Because Milwaukee hasn't really been healthy all year, at least at the same time. And I can't stand the guy. As a matter of fact, I hate the guy. And I know I shouldn't say that, but I do. Jay Crowder. They made a move for Jay Crowder. And as a starter, I hate it. But as a depth piece late in playoff, in the playoff series when you need to bring a defender off the bench to throw at Tatum or Brown, it just gave them another depth piece, and they really didn't give up nothing to get it. So I look when I'm looking in the East and I'm looking top to bottom at who the deepest teams are. Them two teams I'm looking at them two, with a close third to the Philadelphia 76ers, a close third to them.
Yeah. In the West,
anybody's game.
Yeah, because we saw Memphis play the Nuggets last night and mollywhopped them. Today, the Lakers played the Mavericks. I look
7-point lead.
Listen, it's funny when I landed, I was like, ooh, I said maybe I shouldn't have picked the Lakers today. And by the time I got to my room and checked again, I was like, whoa.
Mm-hmm. And LeBron got hurt. And I didn't watch the game. I just saw a clip of him laying on the ground and mouthing, I heard it pop or I felt it pop or something like that. So I don't know what exactly happened. Yeah. All I know is that AD was the one who kind of carried the team on this. Mm-hmm. And I told you this. I hated admitting it. But when y'all made the trades at the deadline, I told you the Lakers got better.
Yeah.
And you starting to see it. You see D'Lo pitch in for 20 the other night. You see Vanderbilt and Malik Beasley, fitting in seamlessly and giving you what you didn't have from Thomas Bryant and Russell Westbrook. So I mean, the Lakers are in a position to keep sliding up in the playoff standings. When you look at some of these other teams, like the Pelicans, as bad as it hates me to say, are struggling. And so it's really anybody's game in the West. You mentioned Nuggets dropping the Memphis. You got Phoenix who lost the game today, close game, but they lost the game today, and they still getting arguably the greatest player in the league back in Kevin Durant when he comes back from injury. So, where do they fit in? Russell Westbrook had a great game in his debut for the Clippers, 16 points, 14 rebounds, and coming out. I know it's double overtime game, but he did all that in under 40 minutes. So it's like, And where do we see the Clippers when they get an upgrade in the point guard production, arguably from Russell Westbrook, which changes the pace that the Clippers play in, which makes them now a kind of more dangerous team because they can kill you in the half court with the KD and Paul George combination. Or if you let Westbrook run, you know what I mean, they could be dangerous also. So now they kind of more dangerous because they're more versatile now. So I mean, like, where do you put them in at? What does Dallas with Kyrie and Luka come in? They got to figure out how they're gonna do in the game situations with two, clutch shot makers who both want the ball, but they dangerous offensively. If they can figure it out defensively, where they gonna fit in? Memphis is still in the mix. Like, so it's so much out west that, man, Golden State, if they get healthy, where they gonna fit in? If you a 1 or 2 seed and you got the Golden State Warriors at number 8 or number 7 and the Lakers at number 8, I don't want to play neither one of them teams for a second. You know what I mean? So it's like the West is wide open, and if you look from like 4 to like 10 or 11, it's like separated by like 3 games. So I mean, it literally anybody can make it or anybody can get knocked out the playoffs.
Westbrook. Mm-hmm. You talked about his debut and how he looked. Was it the system? Was it him just having to do more, or trying to be forcing a square peg round hole type situation?
I think it was a little bit of both. I mean, if you look at it, Westbrook is a ball dominant guard, and you're playing with a ball dominant guy in LeBron. The difference between Westbrook and somebody like Kyrie is Kyrie's a better shooter. He can kind of spot up. Westbrook can't really give you that. And Westbrook is an attacking guard, and you playing with not really much spacing. Because the Lakers haven't had shooting since Westbrook has been there. So when you don't have shooting and you got a guy who needs to attack the goal, all defenses do is collapse on him, and he's not allowed to play his game. Not to mention the Lakers, the oldest team in the league for the past couple years. So the pace that Westbrook wants to play at isn't conducive or best for what the Lakers want to do. So he's trying to kind of play more of a half-court game when he's really a transition, type of guy. So it's that the round peg, square hole type situation in the sense there, but at the same time, it's the system and what they was asking him to do, and he's not an off-ball type guy. I mean, that's not him. And you move LeBron off ball? I mean, like, there was really nothing for them to do to make it kind of work. And so I feel like not only is he in a better system for him, he's also surrounded by a better complement of players for him. When you got better shooting, you got better spacing, and you got, Kawhi and Paul George, who don't necessarily need the ball in their hands as much as LeBron does. I mean, Kawhi is cool with taking like 15, 16 shots a game. You know what I mean? Like, he don't need a whole bunch of, Paul George had his best statistical season of his career playing with Westbrook. You know what I mean? So those are both two guys who aren't going to necessarily try to rein Westbrook in back as much as they're going to try to encourage him to be himself and fit in around him.
More epic laugh. Kawhi Leonard, Carter the Power Bryant.
Ooh. I'm going to go Carter because Carter's laugh is consistent. I've heard Kawhi laugh like 7 different ways, so I don't know which one is really the real Kawhi laugh.
That's because
you talking about the one at the interview? When he was with Toronto, the one that sounded like a car trying to have stubble starting.
Yeah.
You sound like that car won't turn over, man. It won't turn over, man.
That dude programming, his programming was off. He had a
glitch.
Yeah, he had to get an update.
I want to make that my ringtone. His laugh.
Last week, okay. Well, you talked about Boston, Philly. Did you see that game last night?
Yes, sir.
My goodness.
What an ending.
Oh my God, that ended. I was in the room and yelled before I know it. Yeah. Oh shit. Because I thought he I thought he won. I mean, I thought he tied up to send the overtime. Yeah. And Dylan's came in, he said, Daddy, what happened? And I said, Embiid just made a shot from half court. And I think Dylan called himself too. Because they showed the replay. Dylan was like, oh, Ooh, daddy. ooh, daddy. I said, it don't count though. He said, why it don't count?
man.
They cheating. I said, nah. And I showed him, the clock. He said, oh,
Yeah.
okay. But yeah, that was a
Close. Hey, that would have been, man.
great game, man.
Yeah, great game. But see, that's what I'm saying. Like, if Boston is right there, if Boston is, I mean, they made the finals last year, so technically they still the reigning. You know, if they the cream of the crop in the East, Philly right there.
Let me ask you this: is it strictly talent, or is it just so happened that Boston had two of the best first-time coaches that they could have ran into? Because what's the dude name? Mazzulla?
Oh yeah, Masuli. Oh yeah, Masuli. Yeah, he pretty good. To my Udoku.
Udoku.
To my last year.
Last year.
Part of it is talent. I feel like they roster construction wise are one of the most talented teams in the league. But they're doing it. So this to me is the crazy part about it. Last year they were the best defensive team in the league. This year, I don't know if it's still the same. I hadn't looked at it, but I know it like 3 weeks before the All-Star break, they were the best offensive team in the league. So what they did was find a coach who maximized them defensively and then turned right back around and found a coach that could maximize them offensively. And both times they were the best in the league. So that to me tells me is talent. You know what I mean? But the coaching, they just found coaching that maximized them on one end or the other. Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. All right, man. You ready for this?
Sure.
All right. Let's get it. God dang it. We ain't playing on the home court, man. Everything don't work.
Oh yeah, I understand. I'll go first since yours kind of more of a real message.
Gotcha.
All right, so I want to call down to the front everybody who got a problem with Major League Baseball and NCAA baseball changing some of these rules.
Ooh.
So I understand change can be hard. Trust me, I understand. But that don't mean change is wrong. There was one point in time, 1979, when the NBA added a 3-point line. And people said it changed the game of basketball. It actually hasn't. It's made basketball more exciting. We all know the game of basketball to exist with a 3-point line. And to think of a time when there was no 3-point line is almost crazy. So just because they changing some of these rules doesn't mean they're ruining the sport. It could be that they're doing what they can to make the sport better. Major League Baseball has the oldest age of the average fan of any major sport in America. So what that means is your fan base is dying away. I mean, there's no other way to say it. So you have to do something to try to attract younger fans. And if that is speeding up the game, then that's what you need to do. Now, I will say, I think 20 seconds is a little too quick. I feel like some of these rules can be tweaked, but I don't think that adding these rules is necessarily a bad thing. There was once upon a time when people thought a forward pass in football was going to end the game of football. And now we see 50, 60 passes a game. It's normal. And in a few years, the pitch clock will be normal. So just calm down. Let them figure out the tweaks. Let them get used. Let them, figure and find that happy medium. And I think we'll all enjoy it in a few years. Now, the biggest problem I have is eliminating the shift. Eliminating the shift is not baseball. They've been doing it for years. If you want to get a hit whenever they got a shift on, bunt down the third base line. Hit it the other way. Play baseball. But don't get rid of the shift just because people are complaining about it. If you want to make the game faster, I'm all for it. But making it to where people don't have to hit into a shift, I'm not with you on that. But all in all, rule changes in sports are going to happen. I mean, we had a college football playoff. We had conference rules. I mean, there's change that happens all the time. So you just can't say, that just because a rule change happened that the sport is ruined. Let's give some time and see what happens before we start making, these big assumptions about what's going to happen with the game of baseball.
Yeah.
20 seconds is too quick. Man, chill out, bro.
Ryan says pause Blake.
Depends on Blake.
Blake isn't on this show.
Blake?
I think he think. Yeah, I guess he thought I was Blake.
I mean, you typed it.
I know.
I guess
he assumed the producer.
I'll say this. 20 seconds is only quick if you're not able to fulfill that 20 seconds. It could be the best 20 seconds of her life. I'm just saying.
All right. Here we go.
Action pack.
All right, here we go. All right, let me compose myself. Get my composure. All right. This one is a little bit more serious. This is not even just to LSU fans. This is to all sports fans as a whole. As we mentioned yesterday, it came out that Michael Daugherty entered into the transfer portal. Immediately, I started seeing he's my bad. He's leaving to get more money. He's leaving because he's not getting playing time. He's leaving because he's homesick. He's leaving because he was promised something that he didn't get. He's leaving for it just all kinds of reasons. I want to start by saying this. Most of us who share what we call the fan space, we don't know. There are plenty of reasons why people leave. It could be something family related. It could be anything. And this is not just about Michael Daugherty. This is about as a whole. We did it with Arik Gilbert. We've done it with Jack Besh. We've done it with Eli Ricks. We've done it with every player, LSU fans. Now, on a grand scale, every team does it. Every fan base does it. And I think we should be more sympathetic because we don't know what's going on. As we found out, mental health is something serious. Is an extremely serious situation that up until recently people just brushed off. They overlooked. Family issues is again something else that people just brushed off. NIL should not be your default reason for blaming a kid for leaving. And let's all have a little bit more respect and decency to just say, hey, we don't know, wish them the best and move on. For the most part, most of you are adults. You're not in college. You're not, you got kids of your own. Move on. Let it go. Stop blaming kids and stuff, living your life through these kids. Let's stop, man. We gotta show a little bit more common decency to the emotions, the feelings, the just common decency of these people, because everybody goes through things. And what if you change jobs? Not everybody's speculating why you change jobs. Why? It's none of your business. It's none of nobody's business. Again, pray for them and move on. That's all I got.
Man, that man said a mouthful. Pray for him and move on. Well, you can say that applies to so much in life, man. Just pray for him and move on.
Yeah. Boy. And this Ovett says we don't know, so we make stuff up, and that's exactly what happens. Mm-hmm. And I don't want to bring this back up because people made a joke about it, but I'm gonna go ahead and say it. The Destiny Wilson rumors. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it got to a point. This young lady had to. I don't know if she deleted her Twitter, but she ended up.
She made it private.
Making it private.
Yeah.
She can't. So she is ridiculed for what is ultimately a rumor. A nasty rumor. Now, Kayshawn gets praises and slaps on the back, but she gets looked at like she's some two-piece, you know what I'm saying, hooker.
Yeah.
And you know what I'm saying, over some BS, man, that people just made up. It's not right.
And I think, I mean, this is a conversation for a whole nother day, but I think the problem is, I know, but I think the problem is in our society, we so used to people finding out the scoop, and you know what I mean, and getting the scoop and all that we crave that scoop. You know what I mean? When something happens, we gotta know what happened. We gotta know why. We gotta know everything. And we've been so thirsty to find out the information and the real story that we stopped using common decency and we stopped using, you know what I'm saying, respect for other people. All that go out the window because we got to have our fix. You basically like addicts trying to get the scoop. And so we don't care what we got to do to get it. If that means we got to make fun of somebody, if that means we got to tarnish somebody's name, if that means we got to make up something to try to get the truth, as long as we get that fix, we don't care what it does. And as a society, that's become a problem and it's hurt a lot of people. And that's not okay, bro.
We've talked, me and you, us to other people in spaces, and we say all the time, we are not a news breaking podcast. Mm-hmm. I'll let y'all in on a little secret. It's a lot of stuff we know we don't tell, we don't say. And like when we come in spaces and people ask questions and stuff, a lot of times I'll say, you know what I'm saying, I'll give a general, because it's not for me to tell. You can't tell everybody else's story.
And not everything is news, bro. You know what I mean? Not everything is news, man. Like, and then we talked like the whole Brian Kelly divorce situation. To me, that's not news, bro. That's personal life. And not everybody's personal life is news. And I understand he's a public figure. Cool. That doesn't mean his personal life has to be news.
What? And I asked somebody, at what point is it news cycle that we have to know? And some of them say he's the highest paid. He's the highest paid state applicant.
He's a public state. He's the highest paid state employee in the state.
State employee. One, he's not. That's one, because he's not paid by the state. Well, part of it is not paid by the state.
Employee, though. I'm a state employee, bro. Yeah. I work for the state. I don't care if I'm not the highest paid. I don't want state employees' business getting put out there. Because where you draw the line at?
Exactly. I asked him, I said, so what is the price point for privacy?
Exactly. Where you draw the line at? Because you ain't putting my business out there as news. I promise we'll have some issues then.
Listen, I was joking with somebody one day, and we was talking, and they was like, "Man, you should run for office." I said, "Nah, because I know what my
skeletons."
No, I ain't even say that. I said I know what my internet search history look like. I'm good. I'm good. I know what that thing.
Oh my god, bro. That's a good one. All I know is I got too many skeletons in my closet.
Yeah,
no, we good.
So.
We good. I'm good on that.
Yeah, nah, bro. Because some things y'all look at me a little y'all look at me a whole lot different.
Hey, if you like midgets, man, that's on you, bro.
Small people, be respectful.
You're right. My apologies.
They still bounce that thing.
We get canceled.
They, like I said, they still bounce that thing. Oh, all right, man.
So, what is it called? Giving you a little piece of ass?
All right, we'll be back on Wednesday. Wow. All right.
The Lord ain't through me yet.
Don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe on Twitter at Golden Boot. On Instagram at Golden Boot. On YouTube at The Golden Boot Pod. On Facebook at The Golden Boot Pod.
Golden Boot!